都灵汽车集团，意大利最具规模、最具影响力的汽车经销商集团。Nice to meet you. Yeah. 吉安，都灵汽车集团商业开发重要高管。Mattia，都灵汽车集团的副总裁。
If in 2030 or 2035 in Italy there will be 50% or 70% of the car will be the electric vehicle, maybe at that time your aftermarket sales, service, profits will decrease a lot. What's your attitude about this, and is there any countermeasure in your mind how to cover the loss?
The first point is we still need to understand how deep it will impact the number of passengers of the car and how it will impact all the different voices for consumption of spare parts. For sure, it will change a lot the after sales. We are already working a lot in provide training for, first of all, make all the people competencies on the BEV, so everybody can touch and work on the BEV with the high tension, high voltage, and all these peculiarity which involve the cars. There will be two opposite effects, because the number of passengers is supposed to be less, but the number of customers will stay in the official dealership network will increase, because the competencies required to work on a car are higher. Two effects will somehow compensate. We are not sure about the dimension. Yeah.
Mattia is mentioning this because in Italy, especially in Italy, and probably other southern European countries like Spain, like France, like Greece, we have a lot of independent workshops. Okay. And after some years, a customer tends to abandon the official network and go to an independent workshop.
Yes, same as China.
Okay.
The level of difficulty in operate on a BEV jointly with the longer warranty on the battery pack will drive more customers to stay in the official networks. Moreover, I think that there will be collateral opportunity, which means additional services which can be sold to the customer. You can provide additional collateral will need to be satisfied for the customer, like the charging network pack, emergency assistance on the road. Why do you laugh?
我和文翰一定是回忆起了这段时间在欧洲自驾的种种不堪回首的往事。
我靠！每次来欧洲都害死我，这卡太落后了。We could not link to our。
还有，但在这里我需要向大家澄清一下，在欧洲开电动车本质上没那么痛苦。我们这个开比亚迪、开 MG4、开 C40， 包括开 ET7， 痛苦的根源1/3呢，是因为我们是外国人，我们的信用卡在这边不好使，当地人没这问题。1/3的原因呢，是我们给自己安排了太多的事情。行程铺得非常的满，又在陌生的环境下工作。还有1/3呢，确实是电动车本质的问题。电动车的续航在长途出行的场景就是比油车要糟糕很多，它的补能速度现在也慢很多。
Actually, if you drive a petrol car, you don't have so many emergency time. But if you drive an electric vehicle on the highway, sometimes you
can be tough.
Yeah.
It can be tough.
Yeah. Our market will increase in that
So Auto Torino is already organized in this respect, and it has an agreement with a service provider who is able to, if you call an emergency because you are out of electricity,
Yes.
They come with a lorry and they will recharge your car.
Yeah.
So this is just an example.
Yeah.
And probably there will be, for instance, this is a little bit a joke, but not that much a joke. Probably there will be an increase in all the body works, because cars will be very silent, and we think that body works might increase.
Plus the tires, which with a heavier car has a shorter life cycle. So all these effects which work in different and sometimes opposite way will determine a new equilibrium level. It's not gonna happen in one day, it's gonna happen in years. Even if in 2035 we will sell, let's say the 50% of the sales will be electric, still there is a car park.
Yes.
Which in Italy we are famous to have probably the oldest of Europe. So yeah, so we will have time to convert in this new framework our after sales.
而且据我们从中间人那里得知，他们算是当地经销商中的知华派。他们已经清晰地看到来自亚洲的新兴对手正野心勃勃、蓄势待发。What do you say about the Chinese car brands that come into Europe in recent years? I think it's getting more and more on the European roads.
I think that with the shift on the BEV technology, the OEMs of China gradually gained in the past the right to compete in a very consistent way. The quality of the car has increased a lot along the years, and I think that now Chinese brands has the premises to jump in the Europe market and do a good job. Of course, it's not an easy path, because cultural attachment to the historical brands is very high in Europe. The car was born in Europe. Many OEMs has more than 100-year history, which counts a lot, which means that the people were born with an image in his head.
Yes.
And it's not for granted that having a good product will place you in the right way and will give you the right to compete properly and gain your share. What it will be crucial, it will be the partners you will have on the different countries, the approach and the communication you will have in all the different countries, and everything you will build around, let's say, the brands. Somehow, I think that is a unique momentum in the history, because it's the first time China has a product that on some specifics are even better, that can be suitable for the market. Being present in this country in the right way and having the right connection and the right story to tell will provide a kind of goodwill to all the Chinese brand to be spent also in the other countries.
We know perfectly where the technology, the core technology is coming from. It's coming from China, mainly. We have seen a lot of very interesting and also forward-looking design. Still, as Mattia was saying, entering to Europe deserves a sort of humble attitude, meaning that wherever you need, if I come into your house or into your house, I'm not supposed to tell you what you are going to do and to teach you. I'm supposed to try to understand the way you think and how you will react on my proposals. We have, in Italy, we have a circulating car park, only cars, not trucks, not light commercial vehicles, only cars, passenger cars of 40 million vehicles. Mm-hmm. Average age 12 years.
Average
12 years.
12 years.
Okay.
Which means that you have car of 20 years.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
So there is a huge basin of a potential market of these cars which needs to be changed, but it's also not easy to satisfy this demand, because if someone is driving a car which is 15 or 20 years old, there must be a reason why.
Yes.
He is not changing it.
Yes. 和吉安聊天，你会觉得特别有意思。虽然他出生于罗马，是一个意大利人，但在我看来，他身上有浓浓的那种英国腔调。某时某刻，我会感觉那天的采访仿佛是乱入了 Top Gear 的录制现场。 讲话非常的像一个英国的老绅士，而且很含蓄，他不喜欢点破。他说有很多的意大利人开着车龄20年的车不去更换是有原因的，但他不肯说破这层原因。我自己有一些自己的理解啊，跟大家做一个分享。之一，他作为意大利人不愿意批评自己的同胞，说他们没有足够的经济实力去换新车。第二呢，这句话也是说给咱们万里迢迢从中国想要把汽车卖到意大利和欧洲的朋友听的，就是欧洲很多人真的在开二手车，便宜的二手车，老旧的二手车。你的新车或许很酷，你或许有很多的新技术，你或许比起同级别的欧洲汽车制造商的产品更有性价比，但是不要忘了，新车就是新车。新车在意大利怎么着也是2万多欧元、3万多欧元的这样一个价格，已经是他们在开的车4倍、5倍、6倍的价格，他们真的换得起吗？第三呢，如果今天有很多的人在开15年、20年前的车，你要理解一下他们的车上有什么样的东西，说不定是 CD 机，说不定甚至是磁带啊，很可能连 CarPlay 他们都没有见过。在这个时候，你要把一些全新的东西拿过去，并且让它很快的消化和接受，这就仿佛是今天你人在中国，一个30岁的年轻人要求他60岁的父亲拥有跟自己一样的生活方式，这不一定很容易被做到吧。
Whatever I'm going to sell, whether it's a car or something different, one of the aspects which will be crucial in order to answer in a coherent way to the local market, to the European market, is, for instance, the size of the car.
Yeah.
What we have noticed
Yes.
in China is that everyone is building huge cars for some reason.
Yeah.
Obviously, a huge car has a very interesting contribution margin economically, but there are not so many people who are able to buy it, or not so many people who have even the room where to put this car. You have seen Europe.
Yes.
You will experience a different situation going to Germany. Why? Because the greater part of the infrastructure in Germany is very recent. It has been reconstructed after the Second World War.
Exactly.
Not the same in Italy, not the same in France, because the countries,
as well.
Spain, all the southern countries, because the roads are smaller, they are older, part of the infrastructure is older, the city centers are smaller, you've seen that. So, in this respect, if you want to enter in Europe, you need somehow to bring coherent proposals.
从他的回答中，我们不难发现，他们对我们还是有相当程度的了解的。但我觉得，比起他们对中国电动车的了解，更重要的是，他们展现了他们对欧洲汽车市场的深刻理解。
And there is some voice said that the emission regulation is somehow delivered knives to Chinese automotive. What do you think about it?
I think that the European regulation has always been very strict. Euro 7, Euro 6 were not easy to be matched.
Yeah.
At least in a part of Europe, a deep consciousness concerning the environmental protection. So, going to more severe regulations is a direction which, from a political and administrative point of view, you cannot avoid. The fact that all the European OEMs need to catch up, because Chinese products, Chinese OEMs are probably, in most of the cases, 5 to 10 years technologically more advanced, is a fact as well. So it's about competition.
But for me, we went to the Torino Automotive Museum and we saw the heritage of the European cars, especially for the Italian cars. There are so many technologies, heritages in the ICE cars, right? But now the emission regulation, for me, it's somehow it's just like erase all the trophies, all the glorious times.
And the memories.
Yes, all the memories. And you need to how can I say, embrace a totally new world. And the new world, you need to compete with China very fairly from the very same starting point. Do you think it's fair? Because as a Chinese, I don't think it's fair.
I think that it's about the development and the evolution of times. So there's an interesting, very simple example which comes from the past. 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we had guys who were going around in the cities selling ice. Blocks of ice.
Yes.
You could put in your kitchen. You had
Yes.
a kind of place where you would put the meat and a piece of ice to keep it cool.
Yes.
And these guys were called icemen. So when the refrigerators arrived, no one cared about the iceman. The iceman had to invent himself a different job. I don't think it's about being correct or not correct. It's about the evolution of times. IC engines are absolutely fascinating. If you hear
The
V8,
V12, yeah.
V8 switching on, what an emotion. If you hear a Ferrari or a Lamborghini switching on, what an emotion. An electric engine is not delivering this emotion as long as you don't sit in the car and accelerate, then it's different. But it's the evolution of times.
Yeah, I think that related to the being fair or not fair, what was a bit confused somehow in the last years, the last recent years, is not, at least on the press side, not be that focus on the aim of being less polluting, but being more focused on the technology, which means not being that focused on the results, but on the methods. Yeah. Besides that, I think that we would have gone anyway in being more restrictive in the emission, because as Gianleonardo was saying, it happened with the Euro 5, Euro 6, and Euro 7 would have appeared anyway. Being focused on just a technology, which is the BEV1, can be probably a bit more close in terms of vision, because now there are also other different technology which can be
environment
as good
friendly.
as the BEV, let's say. Then I think that in the end, who will decide will be the customers, and the customers will be the one which will influence the speed of this, because even if we put all the restrictions, all the limitations, the people will decide anyway if follow this, if delay the purchase, if adopt different solutions. So the big challenge is to provide something that is usable and at the same time reasonably affordable, which does not necessarily mean the same price, but reasonably similar to the current situation. Otherwise, the risk is really to create two poles of rich and less rich people, which is not the let's say the best way of managing this transition. And that's why the incentives. It will be very delicate to be managed, this transition, in the next 5 to 10 years.
这段马蒂亚讲的太汽车行业的这个业内话语，我给大家做一个翻译啊。他的意思就是他觉得在欧洲对于电动车这件事儿呢，大家表现得太关注过程而非结果，追求的是形式主义而不是这个事物的本质。如果你搞了一个电动车，只要它是电动的，甭管这车造的好不好，甭管它尺寸大不大，甭管它在制造过程中消耗了多少能源和制造了多少碳排放，甭管它电耗高还是低，它都是绿色的，它都是环保的，都能拿补贴，都符合大趋势、大精神。但是如果你是个燃油车呢，你做再好，你也融合了一些混合动力这种节能减排的技术然后你的这个油耗控制得非常好，空气动力学非常好，但不好意思你就属于老势力， 老趋势，属于注定要被历史长河所淘汰的那种产物。某种程度上，电动车是一种这个时代的真正确啊。我觉得马蒂亚说的非常好，这个问题出现在欧洲，也出现在中国啊。但从那个角度，我也可以理解啊，这实际上是人类在进行改革过程中一种非常难以避免的矫枉过正。